Before cities, before roads, before borders were ever drawn, there was the Amazon. A world so vast, so alive, that it creates its own rhythm, its own breath. Stretching across 9 countries and covering millions of square kilometers, this immense forest is more than a place on a map. It is a living system, an ancient kingdom of green, shaped by time itself. Every morning, as the first light touches the canopy, the forest awakens. Millions of lives awaken at once, invisible, unnoticed, yet essential. The Amazon is home to more plant and animal species than anywhere else on Earth. Life here exists in countless forms, from the smallest insects hidden beneath the leaves to powerful predators moving silently through the shadows. Creatures that fly above the canopy, crawl across the forest floor, swim through dark rivers, and disappear into the green without a trace. Some are strong, some are fragile. Many have never been fully studied, and some have never even been named. For millions of years, this forest has evolved in near-perfect balance. Every tree, every river, every animal plays a role. Nothing exists alone. Each plant feeds another life. Each movement creates a reaction. A single broken link can echo through the entire forest. Here, survival is not only a matter of strength or speed, but of adaptation and harmony. Predators hunt with patience. Prey survives through awareness. Life and death are not opposites, but parts of the same cycle. To the outside world, the Amazon may seem endless, wild, and untouchable, but from within, it is a delicate miracle. A place where time moves differently, where ancient instincts still guide every movement, where nature speaks without words, through sound, color, and silence. This forest breathes, grows, and protects itself. It shapes the climate of our planet and influences life far beyond its borders. The Amazon is not only the lungs of the earth, it is a living memory of a world that existed long before humanity. And within this green kingdom live some of the most extraordinary animals the planet has ever known. Animals perfectly adapted to a world of shadows and light. Animals whose stories have been unfolding for millions of years. This is not just a forest, it is a world within our world. And this is where their story begins. At first light, before the forest fully awakens, a distant cry pierces the morning air. Sharp, wild, unmistakable. High above the canopy, silhouettes begin to move against the rising sun. The macaws are awake. In flashes of crimson, cobalt, and gold, they glide across the sky like living embers carried by the wind. Few creatures in the Amazon are as striking as these parrots. Their feathers burn with color, a bold contrast against the endless green of the forest. But their beauty is more than decoration. It is identity, communication, survival. Macaws are among the largest parrots in the world. With wings that can stretch over a meter wide, they command the sky with powerful, steady beats. They rarely travel alone. Most fly in bonded pairs, lifelong partners connected by trust and memory. In the Amazon, partnership is everything. A macaw chooses a mate and often remains with that partner for decades. Together they feed, travel, and raise their young. Their calls echo constantly between them, loud and persistent. To an outsider, the noise may seem chaotic, but within it lies language. Warnings, signals, reassurance. In the dense forest, sound travels farther than sight, and for macaws, communication is survival. As the sun rises higher, the birds descend toward towering trees heavy with fruit. Their strong, curved beaks are tools of extraordinary precision. They can crack open the hardest nuts, seeds that few other animals can access. With patient movements, they grip branches with zygodactyl feet, 2 toes facing forward, 2 backward, perfectly designed for climbing and holding food. Each bite matters. The Amazon offers abundance, but it also demands intelligence. Macaws are highly intelligent birds. They remember feeding sites across vast distances. They recognize individuals within their flock. They solve problems, adapt to changing conditions, and teach their young through observation. Young macaws spend months learning from their parents. They observe how to select safe fruits, how to avoid toxic plants, how to recognize danger. Because in this paradise of color, threats are never far away. Above them, a harpy eagle may be watching. On the forest floor, predators move silently. Even other birds may compete for nesting spaces. To protect their young, macaws choose nesting sites high within tree cavities, often in ancient trees that have stood for centuries. These hollow giants are more than shelter. They are nurseries in the sky. Inside, a single egg may represent the future of a generation. Parents take turns guarding and feeding the chick. For months, the young bird depends entirely on them. Slowly, feathers grow, wings strengthen, confidence builds. Until one day, the young macaw steps to the edge of the nest. Below lies an endless drop of green. Above, open sky. Flight is instinct. But courage must be found. With an uncertain leap, the young macaw enters the air for the first time. A moment of risk. A moment of transformation. In flight, macaws become something else entirely. Effortless, graceful, free. They travel long distances each day in search of food and mineral-rich clay along riverbanks. These clay licks are gathering places. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of macaws cling to exposed cliffs, consuming mineral deposits that help neutralize toxins from unripe fruits. The scene is explosive with color and sound. Red against brown earth, blue against open sky. Calls overlapping in a chorus that defines the Amazon morning. Yet behind this vibrant display lies fragility. Macaws depend on old-growth forests. Without ancient trees, there are no nesting cavities. Without diverse fruiting plants, there is no food. Their survival is directly tied to the health of the ecosystem. For centuries, they have adapted to natural cycles of flood and drought. But rapid change presents new challenges. Habitat loss reduces nesting sites. Illegal wildlife trade once threatened many populations. Each missing tree echoes across generations. And yet, resilience remains part of their story. In protected regions of the Amazon, Macaw populations continue to thrive. Their calls still echo at dawn. Their wings still flash across the canopy. They remain symbols of the wild, symbols of partnership, intelligence, and adaptation. To witness a macaw in flight is to witness the spirit of the Amazon itself. Bold, unapologetic, alive. In their colors we see the energy of the forest. In their calls we hear its heartbeat. And as long as macaws soar above the canopy, the Amazon still speaks. The jaguar, powerful, elusive, unseen. It is the largest feline in the Americas and the undisputed apex predator of this vast green kingdom. Unlike other big cats, the jaguar does not rely on speed alone. It relies on strength. With a muscular body and an extraordinary bite force, it can pierce the skull of its prey in a single, precise movement. Every step it takes is measured. Its padded paws make no sound against the damp earth. Its golden coat, patterned with dark rosettes, blends perfectly with shifting shadows and broken sunlight. Camouflage is its greatest ally. The forest does not announce its arrival. By the time prey senses danger, it is often too late. The jaguar hunts deer, capybaras, monkeys, and even caimans. Yes, even in the water it is dominant. Unlike many cats, the jaguar is an excellent swimmer. Rivers are not barriers, but pathways. In the flooded forests of the Amazon, it moves between land and water with equal confidence. Yet for all its power, the jaguar is solitary. It walks alone. It patrols vast territories, marked silently and defended fiercely. Each jaguar plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. By controlling prey populations, it prevents overgrazing and protects the delicate structure of the forest. Remove the jaguar, and the balance begins to shift. Too many herbivores, too much pressure on young trees, a chain reaction that echoes through the entire habitat. For centuries, the jaguar has been a symbol of strength in indigenous cultures, a spirit of the forest, a guardian of the wild. But even this powerful predator faces new challenges. Habitat loss fragments its territory. Human expansion pushes it into shrinking spaces. The king of the rainforest now walks a thinner line between survival and disappearance. And yet, when night falls and the jungle grows quiet, the jaguar still moves through the darkness, silent, patient, perfectly adapted to a world of shadow. As long as it roams the Amazon, the forest retains its most powerful guardian. The toucan, With its oversized beak painted in brilliant shades of orange, yellow, and black, it looks almost unreal, like a creature imagined rather than evolved. But every detail of the toucan is perfectly designed for life in the Amazon. Its beak, though large and striking, is surprisingly light. Made of keratin and reinforced with a honeycomb-like structure, it allows the bird to reach fruit on thin branches that would never support its weight. In a forest where food can be just out of reach, this adaptation makes all the difference. Toucans are primarily fruit eaters. They play a crucial role in the ecosystem by dispersing seeds across vast areas of the rainforest. After feeding, they fly to distant trees, unknowingly planting the next generation of forest giants. In this way, the toucan is not just a resident of the Amazon, it is a gardener of the jungle. Their calls echo through the canopy, deep and almost croaking, carrying across long distances. These sounds help them communicate with others in the dense forest where visibility is limited. Toucans are social birds. They often live in small groups, sharing nesting cavities carved into tree trunks. At night, several individuals may crowd together inside a hollow tree, folding their long beaks beneath their wings to conserve warmth. Despite their colorful appearance, they are surprisingly agile. They hop from branch to branch with confidence, their strong feet gripping bark with precision. When they take flight, their movement is rhythmic and flowing, gliding between bursts of wing beats. Yet life in the Amazon is never without danger. Snakes, birds of prey, and mammals may target their eggs and chicks. The bright colors that make them iconic also make them visible. Survival depends on awareness and cooperation. Still, the toucan remains one of the most enduring symbols of the Amazon. Its silhouette against the sky represents abundance, diversity, and wild beauty. It reminds us that the evolution does not only produce strength and stealth, sometimes it produces brilliance. In the endless green of the rainforest, the toucan is a flash of color, a living contrast to the shadows below. And as long as its call echoes across the canopy, the Amazon continues to sing. The three-toed sloth, suspended upside down from strong branches. It moves with a slowness that seems almost impossible in a world defined by speed. But in the Amazon, slowness is not weakness, it is strategy. The three-toed sloth spends most of its life in the trees. Its long, curved claws are perfectly designed for gripping branches, allowing it to hang effortlessly for hours. Its muscles are adapted not for bursts of power, but for endurance. Even its metabolism is slow, conserving energy in a forest where competition is constant. Its fur, often tinged with green from microscopic algae, provides natural camouflage. Blending into the canopy, the sloth becomes nearly invisible. Predators such as jaguars and harpy eagles may search the trees, but the sloth survives by avoiding attention altogether. It feeds primarily on leaves, a food source low in nutrients. Digestion can take days, even weeks. Everything about the sloth operates at a different rhythm, and yet this quiet, patient animal has survived for millions of years in a forest filled with movement, noise, and intensity. The three-toed sloth reminds us that survival does not always belong to the fastest or the strongest. Sometimes it belongs to the calmest. As it hangs peacefully above the forest floor, barely moving, it becomes part of the trees themselves, a symbol of patience, a symbol of balance, a symbol of the Amazon's quiet wisdom. It is small, it is silent, and it is extraordinarily organized. The leafcutter ants. At first glance they seem insignificant. Tiny insects marching in long, determined lines across the jungle floor. But look closer. Each ant carries a fragment of leaf many times larger than its own body. Moving together, they form living rivers of green. These ants are not simply collecting food. They are harvesting raw materials. Leafcutter ants do not eat the leaves they cut. Instead, they use them to cultivate fungus deep within vast underground colonies. Beneath the soil lies a hidden world, a complex network of chambers and tunnels that can stretch for meters, sometimes housing millions of individuals. This is not chaos. It is agriculture, a form of farming that existed millions of years before humans learned to cultivate crops. Within the colony, every ant has a role. Large soldier ants guard the trails and defend against predators. Medium-sized workers cut and transport leaves. Smaller workers remain underground, tending to the fungus gardens. At the center of it all lives the queen. Larger than any other member of the colony, she is the heart of the civilization. Her single purpose is to reproduce. Over her lifetime, she can lay millions of eggs. Everything revolves around her survival. The leaves brought underground are chewed into a pulp. This pulp becomes the perfect environment for the growth of a specific fungus. The ants feed not on the leaves themselves, but on this fungus. In return, the fungus depends entirely on the ants for survival. It is a partnership so precise that neither can exist without the other. This delicate balance has endured for tens of millions of years. But life in the Amazon is never without challenge. As leafcutter ants march along the forest floor, they face countless threats. Anteaters dig into colonies with powerful claws. Armadillos search for easy meals. Parasitic flies hover above the marching lines, laying eggs on unsuspecting workers. Yet the colony adapts. Some ants ride atop the leaf fragments carried by others, acting as guards against parasites. Communication flows constantly through chemical signals known as pheromones. Invisible trails guide workers to food sources and back home. If danger appears, the chemical message spreads instantly. Turn, defend, retreat. It is coordination on a scale that rivals human cities. Their impact on the forest is immense. By cutting leaves, they influence plant growth and forest structure. Their underground tunnels aerate the soil. Their farming practices recycle nutrients back into the ecosystem. They are not merely inhabitants of the Amazon. They are engineers of the jungle, and yet their entire world exists beneath our feet, hidden from casual view. To step into the Amazon is to walk above a living network of cooperation and precision. Millions of individuals acting as one. No leader giving orders, no written plans, only instinct, chemistry, and evolution. For millions of years, leafcutter ants have refined their system. Efficient, resilient, unstoppable. They remind us that intelligence does not always require a large brain. Sometimes it emerges from unity. In the endless green of the rainforest, where jaguars stalk and macaws soar, it is easy to overlook the smallest lives. But without these tireless workers, the balance of the forest would begin to shift. The Amazon is not ruled only by power and size. It is sustained by cooperation. And in the shadows of fallen leaves, the leafcutter ants continue their silent work. An ancient civilization, hidden, precise, essential. The giant otter, sleek, alert, and highly social. It is the largest member of the otter family in the world, reaching nearly 2 meters in length, including its muscular tail. The giant otter moves through the water with effortless precision. Its dense brown fur glistens under the tropical sun. White markings on its throat form unique patterns, like natural fingerprints, allowing individuals to recognize one another. Unlike many solitary predators of the Amazon, the giant otter lives in close-knit family groups. A typical group may consist of a breeding pair and their offspring from several generations. Together they form a coordinated unit, bound by communication, cooperation, and trust. Their world is the river. Under the surface, visibility is limited and hunting demands teamwork. With sharp eyesight and sensitive whiskers that detect subtle vibrations, the giant otter tracks fish through murky currents. When prey is spotted, the group acts quickly. They circle, they dive, they corner their target with astonishing speed. Within seconds, the hunt is over. Unlike silent predators of the forest, giant otters are vocal. They communicate constantly through whistles, growls, barks, and high-pitched screams. Each sound carries meaning, warning of danger, calling the group together, or expressing excitement. Their voices echo across the water, announcing their presence boldly. Territorial and confident, giant otters defend their stretches of river fiercely. They mark riverbanks with scent and patrol regularly, ensuring that rival groups keep their distance. But within their family, cooperation defines survival. When pups are born, the entire group participates in raising them. Young otters learn to swim early, encouraged by older siblings and parents. They practice catching small fish. They play in the shallows. Play is not simply entertainment, it is training. It builds coordination, strengthens bonds, and prepares the young for the demands of river life. On land, the giant otter appears almost awkward, but in water it transforms. Its webbed feet propel it forward with speed. Its long, powerful tail acts as a rudder. Every movement is fluid, every dive precise. The Amazon's rivers are rich with life, fish, crustaceans, and reptiles, but they are also dangerous. Caimans lurk in still waters. Anacondas glide silently beneath the surface. Yet the giant otter's strength lies in unity. A single otter may be vulnerable. A group is formidable. For decades, giant otters faced severe threats from human activity. Their thick fur once made them targets of intensive hunting. Populations declined dramatically. In many areas, they disappeared entirely. But protection efforts and conservation laws have allowed some populations to recover. Today, in protected regions of the Amazon, their playful splashes and sharp calls can once again be heard. Still, their future remains tied to the health of the rivers. Pollution, habitat destruction, and overfishing threaten the delicate ecosystems they depend upon. The giant otter is more than a predator. It is an indicator of environmental balance. Where giant otters thrive, rivers are healthy. Where they vanish, something is wrong. As the sun begins to set over the Amazon, golden light stretches across the water. A family of giant otters emerges onto a sandy bank. They groom one another. They rest side by side, alert but peaceful. In a forest often defined by silence and shadow, the giant otter brings movement, sound, and life to the river's edge. Playful, powerful, protective, a guardian of the waterways. As long as their voices echo across the Amazon's rivers, the heart of the water still beats strong. The forest breathes, slowly, deeply, just as it has for millions of years. The Amazon is not just a forest. It is a living memory, a green heart beating at the rhythm of the earth. Here, every drop of rain tells a story. Every leaf carries the mark of time. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the most majestic predator, plays an invisible yet essential role. We have watched macaws slice through the sky in bursts of color. We have followed the jaguar through the silent shadows of the canopy. We have witnessed the peaceful stillness of the three-toed sloth, the relentless discipline of the leafcutter ants, the fluid grace of the giant otter gliding through dark waters. And yet, what we have seen is only a fragment, because the Amazon is far greater than our eyes can grasp. It is the lung of our planet. It regulates the climate. It shapes the winds. It feeds the rivers that cross entire continents. But today this ancient giant trembles. Trees fall, flames advance, silence spreads where life once sang, and in that silence, a part of ourselves disappears. Because we are not separate from the forest, we are part of it. Every breath we take carries a trace of its existence. Every choice we make shapes its future. Protecting the Amazon is not only about saving trees, it is not only about preserving rare species, it is about protecting the fragile balance that allows life to continue. It is choosing harmony over destruction, awareness over indifference, responsibility over neglect. The forest still breathes, but for how long? The story of the Amazon is not over. It is being written now, through our choices, through our actions, through our ability to understand that the greatest wealth on Earth is not what we can exploit, but what we can protect. And as long as the forest breathes, there is still hope,